Welcome back, film friends, to Cinefinity and Beyond, where I talk to you everything movies, pop culture, and entertainment news. Now we have some new director news from two different universes, one from Star Wars and one from the DCEU. I'm going to start us off with the directing news out of the Star Wars world. Yesterday, we did get news that Colin Trevorrow, who is supposed to be the director of Star Wars Episode 9, him and Lucasfilm are parting ways on the project. Now, the reasons weren't exactly clear why Colin Trevorrow and Lucasfilm Kathleen Kennedy were parting ways and deciding that this was a mutual agreement to go separate ways. However, the writing was kind of on the wall for a little while. A couple months back, we got word that Colin Trevorrow's script for episode 9 was being polished, was almost being rewritten in certain aspects, and that does not bode well for somebody that's going to be directing the picture. Of course, it's usual, it's business as usual to do rewrites, to do polishes on scripts for big movies. But when he is the director and Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm did not like the direction they were going with the script, the writing is on the wall, as I said before, that perhaps the direction should change as well. When it was originally announced that Colin Trevorrow would be directing the wrap-up film in this Star Wars trilogy, I was a little taken aback because this all started with J.J. Abrams, an established director. He did so much work on the Star Trek franchise. He revitalized that, and he actually revitalized the Star Wars franchise with The Force Awakens. Then we got Rian Johnson, not a well-known director, but a director who was able to do character-driven films like Brick, like Looper, that were in that thriller and sci-fi genre. And when they announced Colin Trevorrow to wrap up this trilogy and essentially wrap up the Skywalker story, I was very surprised because as much as Jurassic World was a commercial success, it wasn't that great of a movie. I love the Jurassic Park franchise, and I didn't mind Jurassic World, but it just wasn't an overall cohesive film. It was super fun. It was super action-packed, but there wasn't a lot of character development. There wasn't a lot to draw me in and care about everything that was happening with the story. And this is the biggest movie that Colin Trevorrow has been a part of. The movie before that was Safety Not Guaranteed, a very small budget movie. Then Jurassic World, and then most recently, The Book of Henry, a movie that a lot of people regard as a failure, both critically and commercially. Now, with him leaving the project, this leaves it open for somebody to come in with a fresh take, and hopefully someone that is experienced in this genre or with big budget films, but also is able to tell a great story with strong characters. Now, this is an opportunity to bring in a veteran director, someone with a great vision for character and storytelling on a large scale. This is the Skywalker saga. This is one of the biggest stories in film history. They need to be able to wrap it up with someone who can do it right. Now, I've always thought that episode 9 should be directed by a veteran director. Now, I'm not talking about Steven Spielberg, although a lot of people have wanted Steven Spielberg to direct a Star Wars movie for a long time. I'm also not talking about someone like Christopher Nolan, who people have suspected and of course want to direct a Star Wars movie down the road. I'm talking about someone who knows the characters. I'm talking about someone who can get into this world and do a great job. My number one pick for this job would be Rian Johnson, who is already directing Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Why not get him on this project, if he's available, to continue the story and close out this fantastic piece of movie history. Now, if Rian Johnson isn't going to be available for episode 9, I do have one other choice, and that's someone who was rumored to direct the ObiWan Kenobi project before it was even announced. Now, we know that project is under development, very early stages of that. It already has a director, but originally there were rumors floating around Hollywood that Jon Favreau was a name in the ring. Now, I think Jon Favreau is a great choice for this, of course, if Rian Johnson isn't available, because he is part of the Disney family. He's directed Marvel movies. He's directed The Jungle Book. He's currently directing The Lion King. So when it comes to that, they already have him in-house, and they can use him if he's available, of course, and he's not too busy on The Lion King, but he is a great director. Sure, there's some bombs in there, not necessarily bombs, I'm sorry to say that, but Iron Man 2 wasn't the greatest movie. There's a couple other dodgy ones in there, but overall, he knows characters, he can handle big budgets, and he is a dedicated artist. Now, in the other realm of director news, we have a Suicide Squad 2 director. Finally, now will he just stay on the project, because this is a great director. Variety reported tonight that Gavin O'Conner has signed a deal with Warner Brothers to direct Suicide Squad 2, the follow-up to the smash hit from last summer. Box office-wise, not so much critically. Regardless of what you or I think of Suicide Squad, the original film, I still want to see a sequel, and I'm very glad that they locked down Gavin O'Conner to both write and direct the sequel. He made a great movie in Warrior. It is a character-driven drama about two brothers in the MMA world. And if you haven't seen that movie, I suggest it. It is very good, and the direction is fantastic. I think that Gavin O'Conner is a supremely well-picked director for this project. But what do you think about this director news that we've had over the past 2 days? Do you think that Colin Trevorrow leaving Star Wars is a bad sign? Do you think it's a good sign? Are they making a move early on before production and they're moving in the right direction? Do you think that Rian Johnson should tackle episode 9? Do you have another director in mind? And what do you think about the Suicide Squad 2 director news? Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, Cinefinity and Beyond. Please check me on over at Geekvibes News on Geekvibes Nation, their YouTube channel, where I'm breaking down everything geeky in terms of movies, television, sometimes video games, all that kind of news as it happens. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do at C&B Movies, also at BatDanForever. You can follow Geek Vibes Nation at Geek Vibes Nation on Twitter. And let me thank you for letting me take you to Cinefinity and beyond.